Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Xanadu Chronicles. We are Frank and Jim, two former Seattleites who did the whole work thing and were lucky enough to retire early. We bought a home in the Sunshine State and spent 14 months having it renovated from the studs on out. But even then, a home is never done. Watch as we tackle everyday life and all the random things that come with continually improving, organizing, decorating, and maintaining a home and garden, all in the name of creating our own personal paradise. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us here at our channel, the Xanadu Chronicles. My name is Frank, and today we're going to be talking about landscaping. More specifically, talking about our berm, which is just a fancy term for a raised bed. And ours needs some help. So let's get started. We're going to walk around. I'm going to talk to you about some of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then I'm going to show you a plant haul, and then hopefully get those suckers in the ground and then show you what it looks like after that. So let's now get started. Okay, I'm in our courtyard right now, and so what I'm doing here is we're just going to pan and take a look at the berm as it is right now. And again, it's not looking too bad, but over the last year that we've lived here, we've had several incarnations and iterations and have had some successes, but also some failures. So we're going to keep working at it until we figure this sucker out. All right, so let me step out, and hopefully I'm going to not trip and fall, but I'm trying to also make sure that you don't get motion sickness from the camera work here. So first of all, let me point out our beautiful coral stone, which surrounds the whole berm. And we did that on purpose for a couple of reasons. One, it adds a nice boundary to the berm. It adds some contrast and some texture. It's fantastic for the lizards. We even get small plants growing into some of the cracks and the crevices. And what it also does is it borders against the grass. And one of the reasons why we put in the berm is because we did not want to have a whole bunch of just yard. We'd rather have something pretty, and yards take a lot of, or lawns take a lot of resources, and we just wanted to see if we could avoid having to do that. So, like I said, I'm going to walk around and I'm going to show you the good stuff first, and then we'll point out the bad stuff. So let's start over here with our hibiscus. So we've got 4 hibiscus here in front of our living room windows, and they have been doing pretty darn well for us. They were getting a little leggy, and Jim ended up trimming them down so that they would start to grow outward. And the goal is to eventually have a hedge of hibiscus here in front just full of blooms. So those are doing beautifully. Underneath it is a gorgeous ground cover with the cutest little pink powder puffs. They're called Sunshine Mimosa, and oh my goodness, look at that. Somebody's trash blew in my yard. All right. We don't like that, but at least I got it. So this has a ferny leaf, which is amazing. And we actually had more of this all over the berm. And as you can see, you'll see little sproutings of them, because we really literally had most of this covered in that. But for some reason, it was doing great in the beginning, but now it's not doing so good. And we just have no reason or understanding as to why. It seems to be doing much better in the shady areas, but who knows? We're going to keep working with it, and hopefully we'll get more of that coming back. So here, of course, in front of us, there are 2 areca palms, which give us instantaneous tropical lushness, which we love, and are working out beautifully there. These 2 trees here are called plumerias, and they have an amazing flower that's super fragrant and lovely. And you might recognize them. For those of you who've been to Hawaii, you see them everywhere. But they're very architectural and very cool, so they add interest here in the berm. And then we have here a poinciana tree, and that has a very umbrella-like structure. The leaves are very fern-like as well. And this one is a special variety from Puerto Rico. The former owner planted it, and it has yellow flowers, and typically they have orange flowers, but that one has yellow ones, and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful when they grow and bloom out. And here's a cool little trivia fact. That poinciana tree is also known as a flamboyance, oh, I said that wrong. It's also known as a flamboyance tree, and that is what you call a flock of flamingos, a flamboyance. So boom, drop that piece of knowledge at your next party. This here is your classic philodendron, and down here they grow, again, prehistorically kind of big. They can get up and you can kind of make them into either a bush form or even like a tree-like form, which is fantastic. So we're loving that. Okay, let's go look at a couple other ones. These beauties here, we just put in with the orange flowers, are called Cassandras. And those were just an experiment to see, because one of the things we have to deal with down here is the salt air and salt water. And what you put in the ground really gets affected by that. And so it's got to be really salt tolerant. And those two suckers are doing great. So we're going to get more of those and have a cluster of that. Now, the goal is to have actually clusters of plants so that you'll see a swath of one type here and a swath of another type there. And it'll give us some undulation and some movement and some variety. That's the goal right now. It's flat. And then there's some plants, and then it's flat again. So we're working on it. And then a couple other successful things here are castor tree, which we actually did not plant at all. Some creature or something dropped it off one day, and we just continued to let it grow, and boom, we got this thing. And it's beautiful. So we're keeping it, and it provides some nice shade, and it's a different kind of foliage than you're typically used to seeing down here. So we're keeping those puppies. Now these lovelies here with the orange and yellow flowers and the mounding kind of structure and spiky leaves, those are bulb beans, and we had like about 6 of them along the rocks, and they were doing so well that we decided we're going to get some more and put them in. So the goal is to have this area be predominantly the bulb beans, and under the bulb beans is a ground cover. Can you see those little yellow flowers? They attract bees. Oh, there's a lot of bees going around right now. But, oops, that's called purslane. And funny story, we thought they were a weed. And actually, a lot of people down here consider them to be weeds. And we were pulling them out for the last year. And then we saw somebody actually growing them in their yard, and we asked them about it. And there were other colors. And they were like, yeah, it's purslane. And it's a great ground cover. And they're selling them in nurseries now as a ground cover. So we're like, okay, we're keeping those puppies. So we're going to work with that. Oops. Okay. This here, these 2 puppies, and that one back there, the little baby one, these fern-like structures are called crinum lilies. And like the philodendron, they're kind of prehistoric in their look. They're huge, and their blossoms are amazing. And as you can see, I can't believe it. Look at that. Look at that. It's a blossom coming out. And when you see the blossom in full bloom, it's just stunning. It's a very unique looking flower. So I can't wait for that to come out. Now I'm going to walk into the berm and hopefully not kill myself by tripping. But this lovely thing here is called a pentas. And we actually have 4 of them in the ground, and we have some of them in our courtyard as well, which are doing beautifully. But we've got this one, we've got this one, we've got that one, and then we got that one. And looky, the 2 in the sun are doing fantastically well, and the 2 in the shade, not so well. So we've got to move those out into the sun and probably cluster them closer to the other ones so that we have, again, pockets of the same working in the berm. So let's see here. We don't know what that is, but it started growing, so we're going to see. And same thing with that. We don't know what it is, but it started growing and it looks good. So we're going to try and let that go for a little bit longer and see what happens. But that's the successful stuff happening right now. Now the unsuccessful things that are happening. Obviously, this barren area here is not a good thing. We had different varieties of this plant, which is known as a bromeliad, growing here, and apparently our landscaper either didn't know or didn't tell us that those puppies do not like to be in moisture. They don't like getting their feet wet. We actually learned from YouTube, so thanks YouTube, that bromeliads, these plants here, which you see all over in various colors and shapes and sizes. They're beautiful, but they like to be in crappy soil, and well-drained soil. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this crappy area and make it even crappier by adding rock and mulch and really giving it that aerated, non-compact kind of soil that they really need to flourish. So we're going to move these puppies over, the ones that are doing well, because I'm going to show you here. That sucker is a goner. That one's on its last legs, and I don't know how much prairie we need to throw down to make those come back, but I don't think anything's going to save those. So we're going to take the remaining ones and add a couple more of different varieties in this area once we make the ground crappier, and hopefully we'll have a nice array and configuration of bromeliads there. Now, another failure, Gloxinia, that's what they're called. They were looking so cute and pretty for about a week or two, and they're supposed to be in full sun, but they burnt it to a crisp. So now we've got fried plants in the front here looking just oh so sad, and we're going to be pulling those out and returning them to the store and getting some money back, because it's no bueno. Es no bueno. And here, obviously they're aloe, but this is a different kind of aloe than probably you're used to seeing. This grows up in a very clumpy kind of manner, and it's quite amazing once they're in that state. But right now, we got these for free. Somebody was trimming down their major plant, and we put them in the ground, and they're doing well, but they are not looking good to me. They look like tentacles coming out of the ground, a little alien-like, and maybe in the right landscape, in the right design plan, they would look better, but they just do not serve our purpose as well. So I'm going to pull some of those out and put them in pots. Now, under the castor tree, we've got the smaller version of the bigger philodendron that was in the back there. There it is. That's the philodendron. This is called Xanadu philodendron, and it's a smaller version, and we have 5 of them here. And as you can see, the 2 under the castor tree are looking somewhat decent. They were not looking great. They were looking more like this one and their brother and sister there, which are starting to burn because of the sun. So apparently, even though they're supposed to be able to tolerate the full sun, they can't. So we're pulling these puppies up, putting them in pots, and putting them in a more shaded area where they can really get full and lovely. I'll show you a version here in our berm, I'm sorry, not our berm, our courtyard, of what they can look like if they get the right lighting environment. See that? Look how beautiful. Look how full and lush and gorgeous those are. So that's what we're going to do. This is an iris that hasn't bloomed yet, but and it's not in our berm anyways, but it's looking amazing too. So that is where we are right now, and that's how the berm is shaping up to be at the moment. Like I said, I'm going to show you our haul, plant haul, and talk to you about the plants that we chose to put in, and then in the next couple days getting those suckers into the ground, and then we'll give you a reveal. So that's it for now, folks. Stay tuned. It's going to be wonderful. Hopefully I'll have my Fantasy Island tropical wonderland in no time. Alrighty guys, talk to you in a sec. Okay folks, so this is our plant haul. Show you quickly what we have, and I'll point out what they are. So this here, I didn't point out in the video because it's actually on the fence in our side yard, or in front of our side yard, and this is called buttercup. It's a beautiful plant. It blooms like crazy. It has a nice globular shape, which will be a great form to have in the berm. So we're going to plant that in a cluster. Actually, we're going to plant all these in a cluster so that we've got a field of each of them, and hopefully they'll spread and grow. This beautiful plant here with the red flowers is actually a red butterfly milkweed, and as its name implies, it attracts butterflies and bees. And even though it says red, the flowers are actually red, orange, and yellow, so it'll be quite beautiful. Another different kind of leaf structure, and this gets pretty big, so it should be a cool addition to the berm. These are Aztec lilies. They are yellow, and as you can see, there's a lot of blooms coming up on them, which will be amazing. So we want to get these in the ground soon. But what I love about it is the foliage, the grass-like foliage. We have an iris in the corner of our courtyard that is growing like crazy, and although we have no blooms, the foliage is just beautiful and it blows in the wind and it's so pretty. Now this is a different variety of the pentas, the yellow branching flower that we had out in the berm. This is called Be Bright Mixed Pentas. So as you can see, it's a beautiful pink color. This also grows in kind of a bulbous, roundish shape, and so mounding shape. And we actually have those pink ones in our courtyard, so we decided we're going to carry those out into the berm too because they're so pretty. And here finally is that purslane, which I told you in the front was a weed, or was considered a weed, or is considered a weed by some. But we bought these at the store, and as you can see, the beautiful color, corally orange and a pink variety there that we think will add nicely to the purslane that's already there that's yellow. So that's what we have. And like I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to have them placed out there, take a couple shots of where we're thinking we're going to put them, plant them, and then maybe do a short little snippet video to show you how they look all in place. So that's it for now. And I'll leave you on this note. My crazy little pup here, Ginger Snap, sun tanning on the rock. I don't know how she does it, but she does. And Figgy doing the same thing, but on the little concrete pad. So that's it for now, guys. I will get back to you after we do our planting. Fingers crossed. Hey folks, so I am back. It's been a couple days and Jim and I got to work, put those plants into the ground, and now it's time to show you this berm. Hopefully you'll like it. So let's take a look. I'm going to start off by doing a pan of the berm again so you can get reacquainted with what it looks like. And maybe you'll spot some of the things we did, maybe you won't, but I will point them all out to you anyway. So let me walk here and talk and hopefully video without making you guys motion sick and me not tripping. So I'm going to start off here with the crinum lily, this big huge prehistoric looking ferny thing. And remember I pointed out to you the blossoms that was coming out? Well, look at it now. It is huge, it is beautiful, and it smells amazing. And as you can see, Jim actually propped it up because the stalks are so heavy that they kind of stay on the ground, at least ours does. And so we had to prop it up so it wouldn't get trampled on or broken. Now, ouch, as I almost tripped, these are the purslanes that we put in to replace the Xanadu philodendron that wasn't looking so great. Remember those two that were looking a little crappy there? Well, we put these in their place, and hopefully they'll spread out, because as you can see here, that's all the purslane I pointed out before, the yellow one. And remember I said most folks consider it, or a lot of folks consider it as a weed down here? Well, it's filling up the space beautifully, it's looking lush, and it has little yellow flowers on them, so hopefully these will do the same with their colored flowers. Spread out and add a big old patch of, it looks like it's like a reddish orange. And speaking of reddish orange, look at our milkweed. Oh, I'm gonna have to water these again. It's a little warm today, like I said. This poor sucker is looking a little wilted, but this is the milkweed, and we've already seen butterflies and bees coming around. So look at the flowers are blooming here, or starting to bloom. I cannot wait to see those. And so I'm going to step in again. Hopefully won't trip this time. There's that pentas we talked about that's doing so well in the sun. And remember, this one was the one that wasn't doing so well in the sun. It was kind of up in that area. So we put it in the sun and hopefully it will start to do that. All right, let's walk over here. Now remember, in this area is where we had the aloe. And although I said I was going to pull them out and put them in the pots, I kind of decided to do something somewhat different. And I planted them all along the edge of this side of the berm, the rocks, the coral stone. I figured, hey, what's a little bit more texture, and we'll see how it looks, and if it does well, great. If it doesn't, we can always pull them out. But as you can see here, we've got the beautiful Aztec lilies that are all seeming to bloom or getting ready to bloom, and look at how pretty they are when they blow in the wind. And we kind of planned it so that the chrysandras peek through between the foliage, and you see the beautiful orange flowers. And again, look at how pretty the texture of the aloe look here at the edge. Okay, this is not what it looks like. It's not a horrible death scene of bromeliads. It actually is the bromeliads that were over there that we pulled out. We laid them over here because we still need to get quite a bit of rock and mulch to make this crappy area, this barren area, even crappier and more aerated for them before we put them in the ground. But they're absolutely fine the way they are. This one here actually is growing a pup, a little baby. That's what they're called. And as you can see inside the well, there's water. And that's all they really need in terms of sustenance. So that's why they prefer actually the aerated soil so they don't rot. Here are the 3 buttercups that we put into the ground with the yellow blooms that I'm going to show you. I told you they were along our back fence. And here's what they look like. These ones have been growing for a little while. And as you can see, that's a nice big bulbous mound there, and all the blooms that are coming out of those, they just continuously bloom and drop them. And our jasmine, I'm just going to show you our fence since we're here, is doing beautifully, and it smells amazing. So okay, don't get sick here. Here's our Meyer lemon, again producing, and that's what we want. Those drinks are not going to taste as good without the Meyer lemons. Alright, so as I walk back into the berm, you can see here some more of that purslane, but in different colorways. These are orange, those are pink, those 3 there are pink, and the goal is to have things kind of yellowy orange, almost red with the bromeliads in this whole area. And then this kind of center section here, more of the pinks. We've got those purslane, which again we hope will spread, along with the pink powder puffs, the sunshine mimosa. Oh, those aren't so pink. Those are a little bit on the brown side, but that's what happens. They turn brown, they fall off, and then more of these beautiful little powder puffs come up. So that's looking gorgeous. And over here, the pentas, the pink pentas that we put in, which are the same as in our courtyard, those are doing lovely. We put those in. Those were pretty barren areas. And this sedum I didn't point out last time that my mom gave me. Beautiful little tiny yellow flowers that look so pretty and very succulent looking. Love that. But that is about it for now. As you can see, the purslane is filling in nicely everywhere. That's the one that I pointed out with the tiny little yellow flowers that people consider a weed down here, but they're actually sold as flowers in the nursery. But look at how that's filling in. It's just amazing. So fingers crossed the purslanes that we bought will do the same thing, so we'll have more color and flowers on those sides there. But that is what it looks like on a beautiful, sunny, breezy, humid Florida day. And I'm hoping that the next time we see you, we'll have those bromeliads in the ground, and we'll give you an update with that as soon as we get them in, so you can see what they look like. And then fingers crossed that we'll have our Fantasy Island Tropical Lush Berm in no time. So that's it for now, and I will talk to you guys next week. Don't forget, share, like, subscribe, and come on back for more. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. If you haven't seen our previous videos, click on the links and watch away. Please share, like, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel. We'll do our best to keep you entertained and coming back for more. Bye for now.